In the previous video, we talked about non-cooperation movement, and in this video we are going to talk about civil disobedience movement. So let's start. In February 1922, Mahatma Gandhi decided to withdraw the non-cooperation movement because he felt the movement was turning violent in many places, such as Chauri Chaura incident. He thought Satyagrahis needed to be properly trained before they would be ready for mass struggles. Towards the late 1920s, two factors that shaped Indian politics. First is the worldwide economic depression and second is Simon Commission. During worldwide economic depression, agricultural prices collapsed after 1930s as the demand for agricultural goods fell and exports declined. Peasants found it difficult to sell their harvest and pay their revenue, and the countryside was in turmoil. Simon Commission was constituted by the Tory government of Britain under pressure of mass movement in India under Sir John Simon, which sought to look into the demands of the nationalists and suggest changes in the constitutional structure of India. The commission arrived in India in 1928. Congress and the Muslim League greeted the commission with black flags and slogans such as "Go Back Simon." To control the protest, the Viceroy, Lord Irwin, announced in October 1929 an offer of dominion status for India and a round-table conference to discuss a future constitution. After the Simon Commission, the radicals within the Congress became more assertive and the liberals and moderates gradually lost their influence. In December 1929, under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru, the Lahore session of Congress formalized the demand of Purna Swaraj. The civil disobedience movement started with the breaking of salt law by Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhiji chose salt because it was consumed by the rich and the poor both, and most essential item of food. Thus, it could unite the nation. On 31st January 1930, Gandhi sent a letter to Viceroy Irwin stating 11 demands, in which most important of the demand was the abolition of salt tax. He gave ultimatum to the government to accept the demands by 11th March. Otherwise, he would launch a civil disobedience campaign. The Viceroy Irwin not accepted the demands. Gandhiji, accompanied by 78 volunteers, started salt march from his ashram in Sabarmati to the Gujarat coastal town in Dandi, which was over 240 miles. On 6th April, he reached Dandi with thousands of followers and ceremonially violated the law by manufacturing salt from sea water. This movement was different from non-cooperation movement, as people were now asked not only to refuse cooperation but also to break colonial laws. Soon, the movement spread and thousands in different parts of the country broke the salt law, manufactured salt and demonstrated in front of government salt factories. Foreign clothes was boycotted and liquor shops were picketed. Peasants refused to pay revenue and chowkidari taxes. Villages officials resigned, and in many places, people violated forest law by going into reserve forest to collect wood and graze cattle. To suppress the movement, the colonial government began arresting the Congress leaders one by one. In April 1930, Abdul Ghaffar Khan was arrested, and in May, Gandhiji was arrested. Peaceful satyagrahis were attacked, women and children were beaten, and about 1 lakh people were arrested. After this, Mahatma Gandhi called off the movement, and on 5th March 1931, he entered into a pact with Irwin. Gandhiji consented to participate in the Round Table Conference, and the government agreed to release the political prisoners. In December 1931, Gandhiji went to London for the second Round Table Conference, but returned disappointed. Back in India, he discovered that the Congress had been declared illegal. Gandhiji launched the civil disobedience movement, but by 1934, it lost its momentum. That's all in this video. We will try to understand the participation of various social groups in civil disobedience movement. They participated with what motives and how. Also, we will talk about how the political thinkers tried to forge a sense of collective belonging in Indians. Thanks for watching the video.